So, if you didn't know, this Thursday is Thanksgiving, right? Wonderful holiday where you get to come together as a family, watch some football, and eat some good food, right? Except that's never what happens, right? There is a classic joke that somebody is going to ruin Thanksgiving. And I think that is not a coincidence because I think that Thanksgiving is inherently a horrible holiday. You may be saying, but how does that happen, right? How is Thanksgiving horrible, right? And I think it comes down to many factors, but let's just take it step by step, right? Before the meal even starts, let's talk about the time of year, right? October, right? Yeah, you have spookiness. The weather's still very pleasant, right? You're in this very nice fall feeling, and then you're going to finish it out with Halloween. Great, great month, right? All building up to that Halloween, perfect, right? December, it's Christmas time. The snow might be falling depending on where you are, right? It's a winter wonderland. Everybody's kind of getting into this much more jovial spirit. But then you have November. What the hell happens in November? There's one thing that happens in November that nobody likes, but everything else is just eh. It's a lot like, see, I think if you didn't have to vote in November, right, and Thanksgiving wasn't put there for whatever reason, right, it would just be like a January where there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to even like think about in terms of like why this is even a month, really. But okay, so we throw Thanksgiving in there, right? And it gets to be the last Thursday of the month. But so you know what you get? So okay, you might be thinking, well, sure, it's kind of a filler holiday, but that can be fun, right? Easter's fun. Everybody likes Easter, right? So like, what makes Thanksgiving so bad? Well, I would say that Thanksgiving inherently can go one of two ways, depending on how certain points of tension are handled throughout the meal and the preparation and all of that, right? Here's the thing. Every single thing I'm going to talk about, there's two options. You can either address it and you can get an angry, hate-filled Thanksgiving that I feel like the holiday is almost known for it at this point, right? Or alternatively, you cannot address it, and that's the best case scenario, and it's still awkward because all of the tension still exists. But guess what? It's still awkward, right? So before the meal even happens, right? You have to deal with the family drama that surrounds just the concept of the meal, right? Like, are people gonna fly out for Thanksgiving? They gotta fly. They would have to fly back out for Christmas, and so for their family members, it's like, you know, you might not get there, and then that's already a point of tension. And then whose house do you have it at, right? Is there going to be some weird feelings? Who gets invited, right? Like all of these things of like, you're already creating tension. You're already creating family drama. And here's the thing: even if it gets argued before Thanksgiving, it's still gonna be a point of tension for the meal. And if it gets addressed, boom, Thanksgiving's ruined, right? But then we have the obvious example, right? You have the politics, right? I feel like this is like the alley oop problem, right? You just voted the new president or the midterms or whatever is coming through, and that's the obvious answer as to why politics are part of the meal. But I think there's a second problem that uniquely is why Thanksgiving has this political problem, right? I think there's two, right? Inherently, Thanksgiving is a political holiday, right? Because we're being thankful, which stupid concept. You're thankful in every holiday, but I digress. You're thankful for what, right? You're thankful for a Native American genocide. It's like, now you have to go about the history of the United States and the nature of colonialism, and like, and then you're off to the race. You see, it's already political from day one, right? But I think the secondary reason why it gets consistently brought up is because let's say you have, I would say my average Thanksgiving, 15, 20, 25 people, maybe. Like that, 25 is like tapping out, and that's like if we really cared that year. But normally it's in that range, right? And so what you get is you get all of these people, right? And what do you have to say? You go around the table, right? You say your prayer, right? And then you go and you say what you're thankful for, right? Here's the thing: you run out of good thankful options by like the fifth person, right? Because I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for the meal, I'm thankful for like you have like a certain list of options, and you don't want to be the guy that repeats them. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm also thankful for family, because it's like, wow, jackass, really, really, like that's the issue. When you get to those later stages, you gotta there's more of an opinion to it. There has to be more of like a personal aspect to what you're thankful for, and that is where the first keystone problem can arise. Right now, it's Well, like you have the option for somebody to create the political tension by saying, "Well, I'm thankful for X, Y, Z," right? I'm thankful that President Trump won, and it's like, you see, and what that is even if nobody addresses it there, because you're not going to address it during that opening part, but it's testing the waters. It's seeing, can I get away with it? How many weird comments like that can I make, right? Right? And so that very nature, that very problem, it's starting. It's starting. It's there's so many. There's a reason why Thanksgiving has the political problem, and it's because of that ceremony and the nature of the holiday. I think those are the two big things. But then beyond the politics, right? I think so many people think that that's the only reason. But again, if we go back to the actual meal, right? How do you divide the food, right? Like normally, younger kids that are, in that college age, they bring something you can't fuck up, right? Like you bring maybe rolls, you bring maybe something that comes in a can, something where it's like, I mean, push comes to shove, and just send somebody to the store, like they can pick it up on their way there, and like it's not hard to prepare, just something they can't fuck up. But then like for the turkeys, maybe a pie, right? Or like one of those kind of meals. You don't trust that to anybody except for like the people that have been doing this for decades, right? Like the real hard and fat, like the veterans of the sport. Those two handled, right? You know what the turkey's going to be. You know what the rolls are going to be. Those two locked in. The sides, that the make or break of the meal, I would claim, right? Right? Because if you have bad mashed potatoes, if you have bad mac and cheese, right? If you have bad like any of these things, right? It can easily break the meal, right? And so what happens is, I think the reason why these are such load bearing ones is when you end up pawning off, this person will do this side, right? Like a green bean casserole, right? When you have that now established, right? You're taking a risk, and so these side dishes could end up being ruined, which then therefore creates more tension to be addressed, right? Because now, are you going to bring up that the green bean casserole just ain't hitting? Are you going to do that? Are you going to be that guy? Because it's ruining the meal, and so then maybe you talk about it to your side partner, and it gets picked up on, and now the discussion's happening, now your discussion's happening, you just can't make it. Like how great Graham who's what's it did it, right? And so you see how there's just so many points of tension, right? Like I feel like there's just so many different levels, and then you get into the football aspect, right? You watch the Thursday night, the Thursday game, right? You throw the pigskin around, right? Like these are the practices, right? The thing is, depending on who's playing, depending on who's a part of it, you get into a talk about like I just don't like how the league is this year, and that gets into a conversation about how the things have changed, and then and you're back in politics, and it's like ooh, you see how every aspect of this can lead into another aspect, and it can end up ruining it. There's so many different aspects that I think people don't look at Thanksgiving in terms of why it just sucks so much. Because you can name your top five Christmases from your childhood. What the hell is your top five Thanksgivings? Right? Even a good Thanksgiving is an awkward Thanksgiving. Even a good Thanksgiving is okay. Like it's never a banger holiday, right? Like there's not. I would say because the activity is the meal. Like there's not like a secondary activity to look forward to, right? And so I think that is a key problem as to Thanksgiving. Also, again, because Christmas is right around the corner, it feels like you almost have like it feels like it's there's almost an understanding about how mid the holiday is, right? And so you don't want to be the guy that ruins Thanksgiving, or you don't want to be the guy that ruins Christmas, right? That is like a no go. That's like I think that's like it seems like ruining somebody's funeral. Where it's like you won't care if it's like a mid Christmas or a mid funeral because you'll still enjoy it, right? You'll still feel okay about it, and you'll still come away from it being like that was okay, right? But if you ruin somebody's funeral or you ruin a Christmas, the same vibe happens where it's like never forgetting that one. All right, because you ruined Christmas, dude. You are not living that down. All right, that goes down as like an infamous bad Christmas, right? Because then you get any time that somebody talks about like, oh, what are we doing for Christmas? And you're like, well, let's just hope we don't invite so and so because we know what happened. It's like then you get to be that guy, and it's like they gotcha, they gotcha. You can't ruin these things, right? Again, because I think that, and you might be saying, how does this relate to being a funeral? I'd say it's the same level of severity. If not, I would say that Christmas is almost more important, right? Um, like again, I think it's just because there's not a want to be on your best behavior for Thanksgiving. Because again, people don't fly out for Thanksgiving unless they just like really got it like that, you know. Like if you're in driving range, you might come for Thanksgiving. Like, it's like, I mean, couple hours, maybe I'll make it. Right? Like, okay, if it's a couple hour long drive, okay, fine. But like if it's a flight, it's like there's a reason for you just like, I'm just doing Thanksgiving. Right? But then also Thanksgiving is a good way to like soft drop a couple, and I think that creates more tension. Right? Like if like if you're going to Thanksgiving and you're bringing like a boyfriend, or maybe you came out, you were bringing a boyfriend and you're a boy, like these points of tension, more points of tension, right? Right? It's asking for it, but there's not the niceties of Christmas. There's not the niceties of something else, and again, there's nothing else to like distract you. There's no activity. It's like a bad first date, right? All you have to focus on is the meal and the company, and that's all you have. You're just asking for it to be ruined, right? I feel like you're almost asking for a bad holiday in that case, right? Um, so that is my rant about why I think that Thanksgiving is horrible. I think it comes at a bad time of the year. I think it is inherently full of tension. That if it gets resolved, right? If it gets argued, it's going to be a bad meal. If it doesn't get argued, it's an awkward meal, right? Either way. All right. It doesn't do anything special. It's not unique. It was just we needed something for November, right? So that is my opinions on Thanksgiving. And when I tell you this video has been locked in my mind for like the past 3 days, all right. I didn't have the time to make it, but now I got the time. All right, all right. So if you like Thanksgiving, you're stupid and I hate you. But I like you. I like you decently because you made it to like minute 12 of this video. So like, yeah, okay then. Regardless, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We just hit 300 subscribers, which is insane. All right, a mouthwashing video did numbers, and I love that. So thank y'all for that. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what it will be about, but yeah, I will see you then. Bye.